Okay, so we just left off talking about what are chemical bonds, what's hybridization, and how to identify hybridization. That was kind of the lengthiest part. Um, so the next few videos are not going to be as long as that. They'll be shorter. We'll be able to break them up more easily. But first, I want to start with writing Lewis structures. That's what we're going to get into next. So ask yourself, what do you remember about Lewis structures and how confident you feel about it? And I know this might feel uncomfortable, but I literally want you to pause the video right now and either say out loud or write down everything you remember about Lewis structures. So take some time and I'll wait. That's my little trick because normally I say I'll wait in class, but this is video, so you'll just pause it. So hopefully you've done that now. And if not, repause it and keep doing that. Keep writing down everything you remember about Lewis structures. For me, something I remember about Lewis structures, I know that they are just like the atoms with lines drawn between them, and sometimes there's dots around the outside to represent bonds and electrons. And I also remember having a really hard time thinking they were really hard of like, which atom goes in the middle? I remember being really frustrated about that. And so that is something I remember about Lewis structures from when I learned them initially. But luckily, organic chemistry has a little trick for that. But let's start at the beginning. In case your answer was, I don't remember anything about it, I kind of doubt that, but just in case that's how you feel, we like to always start at the beginning. So let's start at the very beginning and have some key terms. So first things first, and you may have written this down in your memory jogging, we have the octet rule. What is the octet rule? I would ask that if we were in class. Atoms want 8 electrons. So usually anything past helium, that atom wants 8 electrons to have a full valence shell, and they'll engage in bonding to get that. For hydrogen and helium, we have the duet rule. They only want 2 electrons to be satisfied. There is electronegativity comes into play. Electronegativity is the ability of an atom to attract electrons to itself, and that's part of why we have those polar bonds like we talked about. So how do you actually go about writing Lewis structures? Oh, I did actually want to say one other thing about the electronegativity idea. Hopefully you remember the trend that as we move towards fluorine, we get more electronegative. So like in that second row of the periodic table, nitrogen and oxygen are some of the most electronegative atoms, nitrogen, oxygen, and then the most is fluorine. So, and then as you go up the periodic table, fluorine's the most, chlorine's a little bit less, bromine's a little bit less. So hopefully you remember that periodic trend. Okay, so when you're actually trying to write Lewis structures, say you're given a molecular formula and it has a certain number of carbons, oxygens, and hydrogens. Well, the first thing we do is we count up the valence electrons, and we know how many valence electrons are around an atom based on the group they're in the periodic table. So do they have, hydrogen has 1, boron has 3, carbon has 4. So the number of valence electrons is the first thing we start with. Then we will determine the structure. So the structure is, this is the hardest part for me, but typically the least electronegative atom goes in the center unless it's hydrogen. Or in organic chemistry, we have a notation we'll talk about later called condensed formula. And it actually, because we have carbon backbone so often, it kind of will show you where the carbons go in that. So then you're going to draw bonds to connect the atoms. And then those two should have showed up separately. Sorry. Then you'll math up, is what I like to say. You'll essentially add up the electrons that are left and fill in anything without an octet. And I honestly think this works best when you're doing it on your own. But first, let's do one together. So let's try to do this for CH4. So we're going to follow these steps. We're going to count up the valence electrons. We're going to determine the structure. And then we're going to draw bonds that connect the atoms, and then we'll math up the electrons to figure out what's left and if we need to add any. So we'll do that over here on the overhead, or overhead is what we used to call it back in my day. The document camera, also sometimes called the visualizer. So we're going through for CH4. Sorry, there's a little notification here. So the document cameras for CH4. Or sorry, the question was about CH4, and the first step we do is count the valence electrons. And these are the valence electrons that are coming from the periodic table. So we have carbon and hydrogen. So carbon has 4 valence electrons, and there's one of them. So that gives us a total of 4 valence electrons. Now hydrogen has 1 valence electrons, and there's 4 hydrogens. So that gives us 4 valence electrons. So we add these up, and we have a total of 8 valence electrons. This is about the most math that you're ever going to do in organic chemistry, which is part of why I like it. So we have 8 valence electrons. So if we have a carbon surrounded by hydrogens, oh wait, nope. Sorry, the next thing we do is arrange it and draw the bonds between it. And so we put the least electronegative atom in the center, unless it's hydrogen. So in this case, we have 4 hydrogens and 1 carbon. So the carbon will go in the center, and then the hydrogens will surround it. Because we don't even have to worry about which one of these is more electronegative. They're pretty close in electronegativity, but we don't even have to worry about that because the least electronegative goes in the center unless it's hydrogen. Hydrogen always goes on the outside because it only needs 2 bonds. Then our next step is to math up. This is what I call it, math up the electrons. So we have 8 valence electrons, and there's 2 that go into every bond. So we've got 2, 4, 2 in that bond, 2 in this bond gets us to 6, and 2 in this bond gets us to 8. So we have used 8, which leaves us no electrons left over. So we don't have to fill in any valence. We don't have any electrons left to fill in any valence shells. Sorry. Now, the next thing I like to do on this is double check to make sure everything has its duet or octet filled. If not, it might not be a valid Lewis structure. So our carbon has 2, 4, 6, 8 electrons making up the bonds around it. So our carbon is good. And each hydrogen has a bond to it, which means each hydrogen has 2 filling its duet rule. So we have our octet rule filled. Okay, so hopefully you remember that, but I'm going to go back over here to the order of things I do, which I count up the valence electrons. We have 8 total. Then we determine the structure. The least electronegative atom is in the center unless it's hydrogen, or you can follow the clues. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We drew the bonds that connected the atom together to make the carbon surrounded by 4 hydrogens, and then we counted up our electrons and made sure everything had a full octet. So now I want you to do this on your own with the Lewis structure of CH3Br. So pause the video. We're back to one of those practice problem breaks. You should be able to do this by yourself. Pause the video and try to do this. You can go back in the notes to look at the list of things to do, but try to do this with CH3Br. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you already tried to do that with CH3Br, but now I will give you the solution. And if you feel pretty confident, you can just skip to the answer at the end, but I always do it the same way. I write out all my atoms. There are 4 carbon atoms. Sorry, carbon has 4 valence electrons, hydrogen has 1 valence electron, and bromine is from the 17th column, so it has 7 valence electrons. And we have 1 carbon, we have 4 hydrogens, and we have 1 bromine. So that gets us to, nope, we have 3 hydrogens. Sorry about that. My brain's not working well. 3 hydrogens. So that gets us to 4 valence electrons from carbon, 3 from hydrogen, and 7 from bromine. So 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. So we have 14 valence electrons. So now we are going to arrange the atoms with the least electronegative in the center. A clue in chemistry is typically carbon. In organic chemistry is typically carbon is going to be at the center. But also, if you have a carbon atom, whatever follows it is typically going to be directly attached to it until you get to 4 bonds to that carbon. So we have 1, 2, 3 hydrogens and a bromine all directly attached. And now I'm going to math everything up and check the octets of everything. So we have 1, 2 used up there in that bond, 3, 4 in this bond, 5, 6 in this bond, 7, 8 in this bond. So 14 minus 8 leaves 6 electrons behind. So now I'm going to see where do these electrons need to go. I'm going to check the octet and duet. So carbon has 2, 4, 6, 8 around it, so its octet is full. Each of these hydrogens have a bond to them, so each one of those has 2 electrons, so each one of their duets is full. But now bromine only has 2. Bromine only has 2 2 electrons to it in this one bond. So it's lacking 6 electrons to make up its octet. So we can just go ahead and put those 6 electrons that we had right there. And now we're at 0. And now bromine has a full octet. So hopefully this is the structure you got. Looks like this. Okay, I'll stop this video here and then we'll go on to the next question or the next unit.